So, what is crisis management plan? So, a crisis management plan is a pre-established strategy that organizations use to handle unexpected events that could disrupt operations or reputations. So, we can see here the 10 elements of a crisis management plan. First is the risk analysis, a study of the most likely crisis you will face. Second, activation protocol, triggers for your crisis response. Chain of command, lines of authority for crisis management. Command center plan, a base of operations for the crisis response. Fifth is the response action plans, detailed plans for the action you will take. Internal communications, systems for crisis team communications and information sharing with employees. External communications, a plan for communicating with media and the public. Resources, information, equipment, supplies, outside advisors to have available. Training, plans for practicing the crisis response, and the last one is the review, procedures for updating the plan and analyzing crisis response. Chain of command, incident commander and incident command team. First, we have the public information officer, the operations, planning, logistics, and finance administration. In operations, health, services, first aid, search and rescue, student supervision and student parent reunification. Planning, documentation, recorder, facility and materials, and logistics, transportations and food services, finance administration, insurance claims, and personnel. So here we can see the map or the area and VIST, the admin office, HM facilities, the canteen, the senior high school building, the TESDA office, the junior high school building, the evacuation area or our gymnasium, and the front gate and back gate area.
So, good day, everyone. As what Cherry Faith Gozon had uh, talked about in her report, there are, as we remember, if we can remember, we have 10 elements of crisis management plan, and she talked about the first five. And now I will be the one who would be uh, reporting the rest of the elements from 6 to 10. Now we have the sixth element of the emergency plan, which is internal communication. So we have what first we have to understand that, or we have to think what communication is. So communication is the exchange, the exchange of messages, signs, or mga verbal and non-verbal communication, for example. So why is internal communication important? So, importante siya if, for example, you have a very big institution. uh, it's very important so that ang pag-disseminate sa information is consistent. Dapat dapat ang mga informations ngayon yung i-release or mga updates should be consistent. First, you have emergency communication team. So, dapat dapat if na kay mga mga teams nga which is uh, on the ground, or mga team, 'di ba, mga rescue teams, rescue teams, mga staff, mga personals nga on the ground nagilang operation. You also have to have those people that is in charge in communication. Kay dili pwede if og katupang mga tao nga naa sa on ground ag mag-update, it would not be easy for them. And also, if If nakay gibuild nga communication team, they are only focused on the communication, mas dali ang pag-disseminate sa mga informations. Next, we have the primary communication channels. So, for example, walkie-talkies, mga unsa pa na mga official accounts, social media accounts that can be used to disseminate informations. Next, we have timely updates. Timely updates and consistent messaging is almost the same. When you say timely, di ba, dapat consistent, dapat simultaneous ang paghatag sa informations in every, for example, in every hour, mag-update every minute, or as long as timely and dapat may delay sa informations. So we have consistent messaging. It's almost the same as timely, di ba? Kung dapat consistent, dapat na updates all the time, real-time updates. Now, the seventh element, we have the external communication. So, as internal communication is important, external is also an important aspect of emergency communication, emergency management plan. For example, you have something that had happened within the institutions, and kinahanglan jud nimo og kanang help from the LGU. It would be easy if na naka-external contact, or you have, for example, mga hotlines within the institution dapat naka-post kay if something happens, the students or the staff or anyone within the institution can directly call to those organizations from the LGUs if they need assistance. Here we can see that, for example, Batu Police Station, Rural Health Unit, Batu Emergency Rescue Team, Batu Fire Station, and Substation Batu and Leyte 4. Now let's go to the eighth element, which is the resources. So the use of official school social media accounts to disseminate informations. So as what I have said earlier, uh, as we know, we are dependent, or not dependent, mostly dependent on the internet, the social media to get news or to send and updates informations to anyone on the internet. So if you are the institution that is trying to disseminate updates informations, you should always use the official social media accounts of your institution, for those people that would be receiving the updates would know that it is legit and it is not tampered with. So equipments and supplies should always be available at all times, such as first aid kits. So in an event of an emergency, if certain equipment, uh, certain supplies is unavailable, it is a matter of fail and success, because if s- if for example first aid kits should be used to tawag na to mga treat og mga minor or mapaunang lunas kumbaga. So if the the emergency kit or the first aid kits is unavailable, a certain emergency, for example na mga nasamad, dili siya matreat nga dili siya matagaan og paunang lunas, and nay possibility nga mas modako pa noon ang damage. So next is trained personnel and staff should be readily available at all times in case of event and emergency. So the second one would be the second or the supplies equipments would be useless if the personnel that is capable and is uh, thus or can use, or the ability to use those equipments and supplies is unavailable. Mawala og bili kay usa ka pa man mo gamit sa equipments if dili ka mao ang mga tawo nga nabilin. For example, na mga training, for example, first aid kits. So, diba, mas maayo if na mga trainings, na mga seminars sa akong paggamit ng first aid kits for those people nga dali ra or kay bawon na sa paggamit ng first aid kits. Next is training and development. Training and development of staff or personnel within the school are crucial for several reasons. The class is preparedness. So, mas prepare sila, mas dali ra sila maka-respond. Crisis management skills. Mas dali nila mas masabtan nila unsaon pag how to solve a certain crisis. Resource optimization, they know when to use resources and when not to. Reduce panic and anxiety. So this is the most important, as imagine if those people that is handling or taking charge for the emergency is dali ra maratol. It would be ironic nga if sila dapat ang ma-save, sila dapat ang mo respond, sila na response during an emergency, sila na noon mo na imong emergency ka naratol. Clear communication, so better communication skills. Team coordination is important also for for example na mga crisis management team. It be big help if matraining sila for their team coordination. Continuous improvement, so for example development, if you have the certain skills, even though they have the certain skills, they also need development in order for those skills to be honed and to improve. The last one is the 10th one is review. So as we can see in this bold na mga naka-bullet forms. So we have the adaptation to changing circumstances, identification of weakness, staff familiarity and training, so incorporation of lesson learned and technical advances. So adaptation to changing circumstances. So not all the time na the same emergency would occur every now and then. So di ba lahi-lahi may emergency. So dapat from imong i-review unsay mga nabuhat nimo nga maayo, and you can also use that for future.
Hello everyone, this is Yurong, and for this video, we will be reporting the emergency plan made specifically for our school, the BISD or Bato Institute of Science and Technology. So first, let's define what is an emergency plan. So ang emergency plan is usa ni siya ka clear set of actions and procedures nga gidesign in advance nga atong i-follow in case there are unexpected or dangerous situations nga mahitabo. Emergency plan also outlines steps to ensure safety, ma-minimize ang harm, and effectively respond to emergencies such as natural disasters, accidents, or crises. For the objectives of our report, first is identify potential crises or emergencies that could occur in the school and identify their impact. Second is develop detailed procedures and protocols to guide staff and students on how to respond effectively during various crisis scenarios. First step in our emergency plan is to identify potential emergencies. Ang una jung dapat nimo buhaton when you if maghimo ka og emergency plan is to identify the potential emergencies nga mo occur sa imuhang himuan nga sa lugar nga himuan nimo og emergency plan. So sa BIST naghimo mi o nag-identify mi og tulo ka emergency plan nga mga natural disasters kung atong tawagon, which are the fire, floods, and earthquake. First is ang fire. Ang fire is naa diri ang wires malfunction leading to building fires. So, di ba, if na ay mga wire malfunctions, pwede sa diha magsugod ang fire. For example, katong nahitabo last time nga naay nibuto nga plant box or box sa kuryente dapit sa TESDA. If dili to naagapan dayon, there's a possibility nga masunog jud, naay masunog or magkasunog. Other fire hazards in schools can also originate from various sources such as kitchens, heating systems, or flammable materials stored improperly. In addition to building fires, wildfires in nearby areas can also pose a threat to a school campus. So, other fire hazards can also occur in our kitchen. For example, sa HM lab nga kitchen, if ang mga gigamit nga gas is dili na paong, there's a possibility nga magkakosad siya sa fire. So, dapat, after mo gamit sa kitchen, ipaungon ang mga dapat paungon nga mapa-electricity man na siya or gases. And other factor nga pwedeng maka-cause og fire sa atong school is ang environment. Ang BIST is surrounded man siya sa environment na ay mga puno-puno sa kilid, and if ang mga na ay magdaob nga tao sa kilid sa BIST, nakalimtan niya og paw ang iyang gidauban, there's a possibility sad nga makakos ni siya og fire. Kay dali na labaya sad mokalat ang fire, and ang BIST sad is surrounded sa mga trees which is flammable sad. Second is floods. Typhoons or heavy rainfall causes floods. Schools situated in low-lying areas or near bodies of water are at risk. So we all know that BIST is located in a low-lying area and it is surrounded of bodies of water. Ang unahan sa BIST na ay river, ang likod sa BIST na ay dagat. So if there are typhoons or heavy rainfall, unya mutaas ang water levels sa dagat ug river, there are possibilities nga mubaha jud sa BIST because naaramat sa low-lying area ang BIST. And floods can also occur due to plumbing issues or burst pipes inside the school building, leading to water damage and structural issues. So, ang mga burst pipes sad is usasad ni siya ka risk nga pwedeng makapabaha sa BIST if dili maagapan dayon, because if buslot man ang tubo is patuloy naman ang muagas ang tubig gikan sa tubo which is if dili maagapan jud dayon na ay possibility nga mubaha sad sa BIST, and sayang sad ang tubig nga gikan sa tubo nga buslot. This earthquake. Structural integrity of school buildings becomes a significant concern in those regions prone to earthquakes. Unstable constructions, inadequate reinforcement, or outdated building codes might contribute to potential building collapses or structural damage during seismic activities. We all know that Philippines is located inside the Pacific Ring of Fire. So there are possibilities jud nga na ay earthquake nga mo-occur sa ato ang place. Um, so ang mga school buildings is dapat jud mga standard materials ang gamiton, because if ang materials nga gigamit sa paghimo sa building is substandard lang, makit-an man nato because na ay mga bitak-bitak sa mga wala pa ganing bag-o pa ganing nahuman ang paghimo sa building is naanay mga bitak-bitak. And if substandard sad ang gigamit, delikado sad ni siya, because if there is an earthquake nga mo-occur, pwede jud ni siya mahugmak because ang foundation sa building is dili lig-on. So dapat if maghimo jud ta og mga building, especially school building, mga standard materials jud ang atong gamiton, because dapat jud lig-on ang foundation sa mga school building, because naaman ang mga students sa sud ug ang mga staff magklase. Step in our emergency plan is to develop crisis response procedures. The second step is mao ni siya ang mo-prevent on or motabang nimo what to do if this natural disaster is mo-occur. First is sa fire response. A detailed and rehearsed emergency fire response plan is the best way to prevent this from happening. By providing your employees with the proper evacuation training, they will be able to leave the school quickly in case of any emergency. So ang usa ka well prepared and practice plan for dealing with fires is the most effective way para ma-stop ni siya from occurring. If tudluan ang staff og ang students on what to do or how to leave the building safely and quickly during emergencies like fires, dako kaayo ni siyang tabang because mas safe ang tanan. Alarms signal danger. When you hear them, leave the building right away. So if na ay normal classes ra and makadungog ka og mga unusual alarm, dapat na jud ka mo leave kay basin di ay kuanis kanang basin na ay mga emergencies nga nahitabo, for example kaning fire, mo leave na jud ka dayon sa building. Use a fire extinguisher only if safe to do so and you have been trained. And if the fire appears no larger than a trash can and you feel confident that you can put the fire out, then use a fire extinguisher. If the fire becomes bigger, evacuate the building immediately. Understandable naman sad. And if mugamit ka o if you have knowledge how to use fire extinguisher, pwede nimo siyang gamiton. Magamit nimo siya if ang fire is dili ra dako pareha kadakon sa trash can. But if ang fire is lapas na kadakon sa trash can or dako na jud siya, ang dapat jud buhaton ana is mo leave na kadayon sa building. Dili na nimo i-try siya nga mogamit og fire extinguisher. Save yourself na lang jud and leave the building immediately. Use a fire extinguisher. We need to follow the pass. P for pull the pin in the handle. A is for aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. S is for squeeze the lever slowly, and the last S is for sweep from side to side. So this is the proper way of using a fire extinguisher. Remember, if you have knowledge on how to use the fire extinguisher, you can use it para mapigilan or mapawag ang kayo. Use a fire extinguisher. we need to follow the pass. P for pull the pin in the handle. A is for aim the nozzle at the base of the fire. S is for squeeze the lever slowly, and the last S is for sweep from side to side. So this is the proper way of using a fire extinguisher. Remember, if you have knowledge on how to use the fire extinguisher, you can use it para mapigilan or mapawag ang kayo. Kaning picture is or example is nagdepict on how to use the fire extinguisher properly. Nahitabo ni siya last fire drill month. May turn off utilities like gas, electricity, and water to prevent potential hazards and ensure the safety of students. They will stay updated by listening to school or local authorities' instructions on further actions. Students and staff should never try to walk or drive through the water because it could be really dangerous. Staying safe is the most important thing if there's a flood at school. So the best way or the best nga buhaton sa mga school staff is ilang patyon ang mga butang, like for example gas, electricity, and water to keep everyone safe because kani sila is pwede ni siyang conductor because ang water is conductor sa electricity. So if ang electricity is wala na if ang baha is naabtan sa electricity nga wala na pang, there's a possibility nga naadjay mahitabo nga dili maayo. The school staff should also listen to instructions from the school or local authorities to know what else to do. If naay flooding, it's crucial that students and staff don't try to walk or drive through the water because it's very risky. Staying safe is the most important thing during a flood at school. Three simple steps for flash flood safety. One is get to higher ground. Get out of those areas subject to flooding. Two is do not drive into water. Do not drive or walk into flooded areas. It only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet. Number 3, last, is stay informed. Monitor local radar, television, weather radio, internet, or social media for updates. Picture is an example if there is a flood in school. So, if maayo, ang himuon jud ani is pwedeng i-cancel ang school because delikado sa din siya sa mga students if mulakaw sila ani nga tubig kay kani nga tubig is wata kahibaw if limpyo ba siya or hugaw or naay mga mananap nga naa sa tubig pa nga naglangoy-langoy. Response is fire response. When an earthquake happens during school hours, staff or instructors must guide their students to evacuate in a safe place. The staff or instructors must knowledgeable on what to do during this natural disaster. When an earthquake happens at school, staying safe is the most important thing. If the ground starts shaking, staff or instructors will tell the students to drop, cover, and hold on. This means that the students need to drop to the ground, take cover under something sturdy, like a desk or table, and hold on until the shaking stops. Staff or instructors will guide the students to move away from the windows, heavy objects, or anything that could fall if the shaking stops. If there's an earthquake occur during school hours, ang teachers and staff jud ang mulead sa mga students on what to do para mas safe ang tanan. Sila sad ang mulead sa mga student paadto sa safe place. These adults should know what to do during this natural disaster. So they should be knowledgeable on what to do para makahibaw sila unsa jud mga buhaton. Staying safe is the main goal. Ang pinaka main goal jud is ang ma-safe ang tanan, ang students and staff during an earthquake at school. When the ground shakes, teachers will instruct students to drop, cover, and hold on. Meaning ane is mo-drop ang students or mohupo, tabunan niya ay ang o, i-cover. Cover is moadto siya sa mga sturdy nga mga butang, for example, mga desk para mo-cover sa students if na ay mga mahagbong nga butang. And hold on, mo hold jud ka sa desk or table until the shaking stops. Teachers will guide students away from windows, heavy things, or anything that might fall after the shaking stop. So dili sad ta mo adto sa lugar nga naay mga pwedeng mahagbong. For example, kanang naay diri ka sa spot nga naay mahagbong sa taas. So likayan jud nato na adto ka sa lugar nga naay nga safe ka nga walay mga butang nga mahagbong gikan sa taas. Students away from windows, heavy objects, or anything that could fall during the quake. Once the shaking subsides, all students gather at a designated safe spot under the supervision of teachers. Teachers ensure everyone is safe and unharmed, checking for any injuries among students. If necessary, they immediately call for medical assistance or emergency services to address any injuries or issues arising from the earthquake. So during an earthquake, mao na to ang staff guide students away from things that might fall and hurt them like windows or heavy stuff. So magpalayo jud ta sa mga butang nga naay butang nga mahagbong nga pwedeng maka-hurt na to. After the shaking staff, everyone meets at a safe place assigned by teachers. The teachers make sure everyone is okay and not hurt. If someone is injured, mutawag ang mga staff and teachers for emergency help if naami mga nahanginahanglan og help or tabang. Drop, cover, and hold on. So first is mo drop sa ka or muhupo, and cover is adto ka sa mga safe space nga naay cover, for example mga desk nga matabunan ka if naay mga mahagbong nga mga butang. And hold on is mukapit sa lang jud ka sa desk or lugar nga imuhang gitaguan para ma-safe ka when there is an earthquake. And after that, mauna ni ang example. After that, pwede na mo gawas. But don't forget to cover your head for safety lang. Para if naay mga debris nga mahagbong, protected imong head kay imong gitabunan sa imuhang hands.
So, good day everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the designate emergency response rules, and by the way, this is Reoma. So, team assignment. The formation of an emergency management team within the school is very important to ensure a faster, organized, and effective response during emergencies. The team's primary objective is to improve and strengthen preparedness, response, and recovery efforts during emergencies. The team should comprise staff or instructors who possess the necessary knowledge and expertise to handle various emergency situations. So, in an emergency, there must be a team, and the team must have an assignment in order for them to ensure a faster, organized, and effective response during emergencies. Because, as we all know, emergencies, we cannot predict kung kano saan na moabot or what time nga na. So, the objective of the team is to improve kung sapay dapat i-improve. Strengthen preparedness and on how to respond and recover during the emergencies. So, in a team, dapat naadjud na siya leader or kanang head who are knowledgeable enough and kanang expert on how to handle various emergency situation. Then here we can see the organizational chart of the team assignment. So we have here the school head, overall chairman, SDRRM coordinator. Then under the SDRRM coordinator, we have here the first aid coordinator, search and rescue coordinator, fire safety coordinator, first aid coordinator, evacuation coordinator, damage and salvage team, and lastly security coordinator. And under of those coordinator are their members. So next is communicate the plan to all stakeholders. So identify stakeholders. List and identify all the people or groups who need to know about the emergency plan. This could include students, teachers, parents, staff, emergency services, and local authorities. So we really need to list and identify the stakeholders in order we need to list and identify people who will be involved and who will gonna know about the emergency plan. Then next is create clear messages. Prepare simple and clear messages that explain the emergency plan in an easy to understand way. Use straightforward language and avoid jargon. So in delivering a message or delivering an explanation about the emergency plan, it must be simple and easy to understand. And in order for the people to understand it directly or clearly, so we must avoid using jargon. So jargon is those words that is not kanang common to the people or dili siya dali masabtan. Next is meetings. Arrange meetings or sessions to talk about the plan. This could be in the classrooms, with parents, or during staff meetings. answer questions to ensure everyone gets it. So, meeting. As we all know, meeting is kanang naman yun na siya sa classrooms. Then, during the meeting, ang mastoryahan ani is all about kanang mga plano, unsay mga dapat buhaton, nga na. Visual aids. So, use posters, signs, or drawings to show the steps of the plans. Visual aids help people remember what to do. So, visual aids is very important. Kay not all people is kanang makasabot through kanang face-to-face interaction. Nay uban nga makasabot sila kung na sila makita nga image or kanang ma-remember nila ang kanang nga image mo nang maka-remember sila unsay buhaton. Feedbacks. Ask for feedback or questions afterward. It's important that everyone feels comfortable and knows what to do in an emergency. So, feedback. So, after nimo mag-deliver sa message or kanang giyon sa nimo pag-deliver ang emergency plan sa mga tao, you must ask them kung na ba sila pangutana, kung unsa ilang feedback about sa imuhang pangsulti sa tubangan. Kay basin og paingon-ingon lang na sila.
Good day, I'm Asumbrado, and this is my report. Train staff and student on the plan. Fire emergency response. Conduct regular fire drill to educate student and staff on evacuation routes, fire alarms, and using fire extinguisher. Designate clear exit routes and assembly points away from the building. Train everyone to evacuate calm and swiftly when the fire alarm sounds. So fire alarm emergency response is kailangan jud ni i-conduct sa kanang eskwelahan, like mag drill kay aron if ever na magani kanang sunog, makahibaw na ang mga students or staff kung asa sila mo exit kung saan nila paghimo sa fire extinguisher o asa sila mo evacuate. Flood emergency response. Educate students and staff about flood warning, signs, and safety measures through informational session. Identify safe evacuation routes to higher ground or designate safe zones away from flood-prone area. Train everyone on the procedures to follow when flooding occurs, emphasizing safety above all. Flood emergency response is kailangan pa ni sa estudyante or sa mga tao nga makahibaw sa ang mga signs sa flood emergency. Kailangan dyan na itong alisto sa panahon if ever na manggani baka kailangan dyan na itong evacuate sa lagyo nga tubig kay posibleng mutaas. Earthquake emergency response. Teach the drop, cover, and hold on procedures to all students and staff through drills and training sessions. Identify safe area within buildings away from windows and heavy objects where individuals can take cover during an earthquake. Instruct on safe evacuations when shaking staff. Earthquake emergency response is kailangan na po ni i-conduct sa eskwelahan or sa mga buildings if naamang gani kanang earthquake kay di man jud ni mahibaw-an o kanang sa ni mabot. Kailangan jud naka-cover, drop, and hold pagawas adto pagawas sa kanang ladyo nga buildings o kanang hawan. Ug kailangan pud alisto ang estudyante or teacher para mag-guide ang usag-usa pagawas sa room. Review and update the plan regularly. Check the plan often. Look at the emergency plan regularly to see if everything is still correct and up to date. So kini is kailangan i-check ang mga plano if okay ba or sakto ba sa up to date or diretso. Make changes if needed, if something has changed or if there a better way to things. Update the plan to make it better. Keep everyone informed, so kailangan kaibaw ang tanan sa plano kay if na ay man gani nausab or unsaon pagkuan sa mga plano in case nga makahibaw ang uban unsaon inagkuan sa emergency.